Meetings and events are becoming more integrated into travel programs these days than ever before. So, Sanjay, let's talk about meetings events in this region. What do we need to know about them?
So we're seeing several different changes in customers and how they spend. In particular, right now we're seeing a lot of consolidation. So they would prefer to work with a single agency versus multiple agencies. ROI is key. No one will spend without understanding what the outcome is going to be. So I think that's even more crucial for us. We take the measurement of outcomes of an event very seriously. And I think, clearly there is prudency amongst the customers when we look at their spend. They're being smart about how they spend. They're doing things perhaps in local markets versus even gathering regionally. So there is consolidation and decentralization all at the same time.
Okay, let's dig into that spend aspect. I'd imagine then in-person versus hybrid or virtual events, that comes into play, right?
It does, and I think again there's this fallacy that doing a hybrid event is a lot cheaper than doing an in-person event. It really depends on what quality you want. End of the day, it's about content. That's going to be key. You want to make sure your message gets across the right way, and doing it in a virtual format or doing it in a hybrid format, doing it live, very different science to all of that. But end of the day, these days, I think for the majority of events that we have, there is a tendency to have a backup of a hybrid. Though more and more so, I think customers post-COVID are really quite excited to get together and have human connection, right? That's quite critical for them. We're not seeing them going, we need to do hybrid because that's the need, or we need to do virtual at all. Where there is the ability, human connection's the key, bring them together, that's always going to have a very different outcome.
Okay, last question for you then. What advice do you have on things to consider when planning out your event season and how events are going to work in a specific travel program?
So, there are a couple of things that we look at these days. It is intrinsic to what we do right now to understand the customer's business. It's not just their event requirements, but really their business. How are they faring? What are the trends that are happening in their industry, in their verticals? And, we look at product cycles. Is the organization, whether it's a pharmaceutical organization, going to be launching a certain drug that year? Can we forecast that? Can we build that into our growth plans? Or even a new car model for that matter. There's been a shift, I guess, with the dynamics of shipping, trading globally, and that's another thing we need to look at quite carefully. All in all, it's no longer a job of just delivering events. It's about understanding and being more of a consultant, in approaching how we actually want to plan our resources and our growth forecasts.
So much to consider, but I know that you and the team are always on the cutting edge. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Killer.
Good.
Oh, where was the bump? There it is.